I'm Michelle Franzen in New York as the financial markets close on Wall Street for this Thursday, January 8th. This is Story Stock. Coca-Cola, the world's largest beverage company, revealing today it would cut as many as 1,800 jobs, or 1% of its global workforce, as it tries to reduce costs. Coke said the cuts will reach into the company's corporate headquarters in Atlanta and other North American operations. And here to explain what's going on with Coke, I'm joined by Danielle Douglas-Gabriel of the Washington Post. Hi, Danielle.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. Wall Street seemed to be sweet on Coke's move to trim its labor force. What was the reasoning behind those cuts?
You know, soda sales have been down for the last few quarters, and as a result, Coke is spending a lot more money on their operations than they're taking in from these sales. So they had to make some hard decisions and start to trim some of the fat from its operations. And unfortunately, that means rounds of layoffs for its employees. And
CEO Motar Kent says these cuts are much needed as the company deals with that sluggish growth. Is this more of an issue about customer concerns over obesity and artificial ingredients, or rather changing tastes?
I think it's a bit of both. So, I mean, after years of public health campaigns that are trying to get people to understand that drinking sugary drinks and eating processed foods will make you gain weight and are generally bad for your health, I think people are starting to heed the message, and as a result, their tastes are changing. And we've seen that with the strength of water and just health foods coming into play. And I feel like Coke is having a hard time pivoting away from some of its core brands that aren't necessarily in vogue anymore. So I think a lot of what will have to happen is the company diversifying some of its offerings, which we've already seen them do by purchasing companies like Honest Tea, which is out in the Washington area, as well as putting a lot of resources behind Dasani, their water brand. But that might not be enough. They may need to look elsewhere within the food distribution space in order to offset some of the sluggish sales that they're seeing in their Coke and their core brand, which is their soft drink.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about growth in some of those other areas. There's also investment in SodaStream. Could home brewing be on the horizon, you think, and have staying power?
You know, it's still really niche at this point. It's a fun-looking contraption, and certainly I think a lot of people are going to be attracted to the idea of being able to make their own soda pop at home. But I don't know if that's enough to offset some of the dearth of sales that Coke is seeing in their main brand. Again, I really think that it's going to be about diversifying their offerings outside of just soda and looking at some healthier ways to improve their bottom line.
All right, let's turn to the broader market a little bit. Stocks rallied today with the Dow surging 300 points. It's been a roller coaster week. What was behind today's optimism?
You know, the market is reacting really well to the fact that oil prices are starting to stabilize. And then we're hearing from a lot of the Eurozone countries that there is going to be a bit more of an aggressive stimulus coming from their central bank. So those two things are really getting the market excited. And then the other thing is that there have been some members of the Federal Reserve Bank saying that they really hope that the central bank decides not to raise interest rates. And so I think the market is taking that as a sign that we're not going to see a massive increase in interest rates, which the Fed had said it would do as the economy improved, which it has. But if they're able to keep them down for the next year, then we could see the market respond really well to that. And I know a lot of people will be happy, especially those with their 401ks invested in the market. The last few days have been a little bit scary, but it's kind of par for the course, I guess.
All right. The Dow's still looking good, though. Danielle Douglas-Gabriel from the Washington Post, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And you've been watching Story Stock. Stay with abcnews.com for your latest headlines. I'm Michelle Franzen in New York.